Diplomat Talks as a Messenger. Hello to the new government. Our 20th episode begins now.
You guys,
네,
let's take a look at the invitation that came today.
네, 볼게요.
Hello, Team Diplomat Talks. Welcome to the residence of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I'm Joanne, Doornewaard, the ambassador, and I'm very grateful that you take the time to talk with me so I can deliver the message to your new government, because we have a very good relationship already for more than 60 years, and I really would like to talk and explain a little bit more about that. So thank you, and I hope that you will come and visit me again.
Let's look at the response the ambassador sent us.
뭔가 오늘 롤이 좀 바뀐 것 같은데요?
Why? It feels very natural and nice.
좋아요. 톡톡님이 앞으로 진행하시죠.
답변지 빨리 볼게요. 저는 답변지 중에 제일 눈에 띄는 게 반도체 분야 협력이네요.
맞아요.
제가 약간 예상하지 못했던 부분인 것 같아요.
맞아요. 근데 이제 반도체가 지금도 중요하지만 뭔가 앞으로는 더 중요해질 수밖에 없는 거잖아요. 뭐 인공지능이나 자율주행 뭐 이런 미래 기술들에서 빼놓을 수 없는 게 이제 반도체니까.
그래서 지금 세계적으로 엄청 이슈가 되고
맞아요.
있기도 하잖아요. 뭐 생산 일정이나 이런 거 차질도 있긴
맞아.
있지만 또 패권 경쟁에서도 이게 중요한 좀 이슈가 되고 있으니까.
여기 보면은 한 기사에서는 차세대 반도체 기술을 한국이랑 네덜란드가 함께 선도하고 있다고도 표현을 하더라고요.
오, 뭔가 반도체 얘기는 저희가 좀 많이 여쭤봐야 될 것 같기는 해요.
맞아요.
그러니까 해주실 이야기도 굉장히 많을
많은
것
것
같고.
맞아요.
She also mentioned trade.
자료를 보면 한국과 네덜란드가 둘 다 수출 강국이라고 해요. 그래서 우리나라와 네덜란드 두 국가 모두 세계 10위 안에 든다고 하네요.
한국이랑 네덜란드 사이에서도 무역이 많이 이루어지고 있는지 그것도 좀 궁금한 것 같아요. 분명히 우리가 모르는 많은 것들이 또 수출이 되고 또 수입이 되고 있을 것 같은데
무역 부분에 있어서도 좀 여쭤봐야 될 것 같아요.
또 답변지 보면 지금처럼 갈등이랑 분쟁이 많은 상황 속에서 국제법이나 국제 질서를 한국이랑 네덜란드가 같이 지켜나가는 게 중요하다고 말씀을 해주셨네요.
네덜란드 대사님이 생각하는 한국의 역할은 어떤 게 있는지 좀 여쭤보면 그 부분이 또 새 정부한테 도움이 되지 않을까 싶네요.
Based on the ambassador's preliminary interview, we started to draft the list of questions. The questions are complete. Let's go meet the ambassador now.
톡톡님 저기 계신다. 오늘 자세가 좀 삐딱하신데요?
Don't I look cool?
멋진 것까지는 잘 모르겠고요.
Hey,
저기 MC님 오세요.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요, 톡톡님. 오늘은 또 뭐죠? 웬 공이에요?
I started a new sport.
어머, 축구인가 봐요.
That's right. I'm training hard right now.
좀 보여주세요, 톡톡님. 축구하는 모습.
Well, let me just show you a little bit then.
연습 진짜 많이 하셔야겠다. 진짜 초보시구나.
What?
근데 왜 축구를 고르신 거예요?
Which country is the ambassador we're meeting today from?
네덜란드.
Here's today's quiz. Who comes to mind when we think of Korea and the Netherlands?
하멜? 벨테브레? 렘브란트?
They're not wrong, but they're not who I had in mind.
누군데요?
It's Hiddink.
아, 히딩크 감독님.
그러게. 네덜란드 분이시죠.
그러게, 맞아요.
How could none of you get this right when I even brought this soccer ball as a hint?
맞아. 2002년 당시 그 월드컵 때 진짜 인기도 많고
맞아요.
감독님도 인기가 많고
맞아요.
엄청 열기가 대단했잖아요.
맞아요.
그때 우리 통통님은 뭐 하고 계셨죠?
My past is a secret.
비밀이 많아. 다음에 축구하는 거 영상도 꼭 좀 봤으면 좋겠어요.
맞아요.
You can look forward to it.
그러면 우리 갈까요 이제 톡톡님?
Let's go!
갑시다.
This is where we begin our 20th journey with Tok Tok.
The sky is really blue today.
It hasn't been too long since the ambassador moved to this residence.
Oh, is it a new residence today?
That's right.
Wow, I am so excited.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Ambassador.
Welcome, Jenny. Hi. Good to see you again.
Long time no see.
Yeah, welcome to the
Oh,
residence
this
of
is
the
the
Netherlands. Yeah.
beautiful residence that you talked about before.
Yes, I'm very happy to show it to you finally.
So this is Tok Tok.
Hi, Tok Tok. How are you? Welcome to the Dutch residence.
Thank you for inviting us.
Well, it's my first time at this residence, and certainly it's the first time for Tok Tok, so I'm very excited.
Okay, well, let me show you inside. I'm very happy to come.
Yeah.
Come along, Tok Tok.
Our first visit to the new residence of the Dutch ambassador. The unique design and huge windows were eye-catchingly beautiful.
There are so many beautiful items to see. Ambassador, can you introduce your residence to us?
Okay, so what you see on the wall, these are pictures taken by a famous Dutch photographer, Willem van der Hoed. And he spent quite some time in Korea, and he likes to observe from hotel rooms and then take pictures from the hotel rooms.
Oh, I see.
And if you turn around, then I can show you the clock, the confetti clock.
Oh.
And this is unique. There are only a few in the world. So he makes every minute by shifting the confetti in a certain position that tells the time.
That's bizarre and amazing at
And
the
amazing
same
as well,
time.
yeah. And sometimes it's blurry, and sometimes, things happening there. Sometimes he takes a break, and then then you cannot tell the time because he's just. But it's fun to
Oh,
to watch.
really?
Yeah.
That's very fascinating.
Yeah. Now, and the best thing here is the view, of course, outside, the Korean landscape.
We would love to see more of the residence, but I think it's time to interview the ambassador. So let's begin the interview now.
Well, for this special series that we are doing currently, we usually begin with a brief overview of your country. So how would you introduce the Netherlands to the new government of Korea as well as our viewers?
Okay, well, I'm the ambassador for the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is this small country in Western Europe. It's a flat country. We don't have any mountains, but it's full of flowers. And we have an amazing agro-business going on there. We have a population of 17 million people, but highly schooled and skilled people who work in innovative businesses. So, and we have big companies like ASML, ASMI. In the past, we had, of course, Philips. So we have some amazing companies that are active worldwide. And I think we are a country that has a very close trading relationship with Korea that we hope to extend in the future as well to other subjects.
Well, Korea and the Netherlands celebrated the 60-year anniversary mark of our bilateral relationship last year. And I remember we talked about this last year, but how do you think our friendship has fared so far?
I think very well. I mean, so we have this deep historical relationship that started with Hamel. Then, of course, during the Korean War, we were here with the other sending states. We were here with 5,000 troops to help to defend Korea. But that then became into a phase of economic trade, and that has been really flourishing the last decades. And right now we are in a phase that we can see that extending to other subjects as well, because we see Korea also as a like-minded country.
Talk's quick facts. Let's find out about the history of exchange between Korea and the Netherlands.
Well, on the sidelines of the NATO summit held in Madrid earlier in the year, President Yoon Suk-yeol and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte sat down for a meeting. What were discussed there?
First of all, I mean, it was their first physical meeting that they just to see each other live, because my Prime Minister was one of, I think, the first European leader to call and to congratulate your president. And so they had already talked on the phone, and then in Madrid was the real first occasion to sit down and talk and meet each other, and then to establish that indeed this intention to work closely together on subjects that really are that unite us, that are a global concern, that we think that we can work together, but also in supply chain issues, semiconductive, but also indeed in rule of law. The topics that are discussed on in the war in Ukraine, DPRK. So these topics passed. They touched upon it because it was just a first meeting. But we hope it will be followed up with a longer meeting, and hopefully that will take place in the near future.
So it sounds like the two leaders had a chance to really skim through a lot of the topics that we will be able to cooperate.
To see where we could deepen our relationship and to extend from trade, economic, also in the other topics where we could work on together. Because we have common concerns about cybersecurity, AI, so artificial intelligence, all these emerging technologies that we have both a concern. I mean, you have the big powers and you have countries like Korea and the Netherlands. So we can join forces to set also the rules for these new technologies, instead that other big powers dictate us how to do that. So it's good to have like-minded countries to work together. So, okay, how would we like to go ahead, and then together we are strong as well.
Well, as one of the areas of cooperation that you said you wish to see more cooperation take place between our two countries, you mentioned strong cooperation in the semiconductor industry. And it got me curious about the semiconductor industry in the Netherlands.
Yes. So we have a big industry in the semiconductor. The Netherlands is one of the few countries that really have the entire semiconductor value chain. So we design the chips, we develop and manufacture the equipment to produce the chips, and we produce semiconductors as well. So we have around 200 semicon companies in the Netherlands.
According to a report published last August by World Semiconductor Trade Statistics, the semiconductor market is expected to grow from about $550 billion in 2021 to about $660 billion in 2023. As global competition for semiconductor technology and equipment intensifies, the Netherlands has emerged as a semiconductor powerhouse. The Netherlands is one of 3 countries in the world, together with the US and Japan, to have a complete chip value chain within its borders. These 3 countries are known to produce 90% of the world's semiconductor manufacturing equipment. There are many Dutch companies in the field of semiconductor equipment, such as ASML, ASM International, BE Semiconductor Industries, or BESI, which produce equipment for semiconductor processing. In particular, the company ASML in 2020 had a 15.4% share of the global market for semiconductor equipment. ASML also exclusively produces extreme ultraviolet, or EUV, exposure equipment, which is used to make the most advanced semiconductors. This equipment can cost up to $200 million per unit. ASML plans to produce high-NA EUV systems as soon as next year. This next-generation equipment can engrave finer semiconductor circuits than existing EUV systems, and global companies are racing to get their hands on it first.
They produce parts, they manufacture the equipment where other companies can produce the chips. So like Samsung, they want to produce the smallest, the most advanced chips, and they need machines to produce those, and they are manufactured in the Netherlands. And it's not just we just send those machines here or all over the world. No, they are custom made, so you really need servicing for that. So we have also, ASML has a big plant here, and they're going to extend that as well here in Korea. Yeah, and it's a very promising sector because, I mean, we had an increase of 40% last year in our bilateral trade. I mean, it's really big business, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do we complement each other in operating the semiconductor business?
Yeah, well, you see Vice Chairman Lee visiting the Netherlands regularly, so we work together. I mean, I think at that time also companies realized what was happening, so they invested in that. They have shares in what's happening there. So it's characteristic of the Netherlands that when we develop things, we try to work together. It's really a complex, they call it a quadruple helix. So it's research institutes, it's government who facilitates with regulations, it's the private sector who finance it. So that all comes together and to see how to develop that further. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening right now. So ASML is in this region, Veldhoven, that's very close to Eindhoven, technical university. So we have like 4 major technical universities in the Netherlands. And it's all top-notch, and they have a lot of international students, and that all works together to develop this. So indeed, the combination with Korea, you have also very good engineers who work in the Netherlands, who go also to get a master's or a PhD in the Netherlands. And they work for companies like ASML. So it's developing this to invest in the people, in research together, and that's also, I think, the path forward in the future, that we continue to do that.
Well, you mentioned trade as well, and we are both a strong exporting country. What's our bilateral trade relationship like currently?
So we have a very strong bilateral trade relationship. For us, Korea is the second largest trade market here in Asia after China. So it's bigger than Japan for us right now. And the other way around also, because, I mean, for Korea, you export mainly the automotive sector, the EV, the electrical vehicles, are very popular in the Netherlands.
Korea and the Netherlands are among the world's leading powerhouses in trade. According to the WTO, Korea ranked 8th and the Netherlands ranked 4th in terms of global trade volume in the first half of 2021. Also, both countries are among the world's top 10, with trade volume surpassing $1 trillion. Korea and the Netherlands are important trading partners and have developed strong economic relations for decades. As of 2021, Korea is the Netherlands' 13th biggest export partner and 22nd import partner. Meanwhile, the Netherlands is Korea's 21st biggest export partner and its 14th import partner. Looking at the trade balance between the two sides, the Netherlands has consistently maintained a trade surplus in recent years, with the exception of 2019. To the Netherlands, Korea mainly exports jet fuel and kerosene, ferrous alloys, EVs, and pharmaceuticals. Meanwhile, to Korea, the Netherlands mostly exports products related to semiconductors, such as semiconductor manufacturing equipment and equipment parts.
Wow, the two sides have close ties in the trade sector.
So I think it's also very promising that we have items that are very future-oriented. So, I mean, we saw a big growth last year, even in COVID times. Our trade, our mutual trade is really extending. And I'm very hopeful that also in the future it will extend, because these are sectors, these are items that are very promising also for the future. But there are also other promising sectors right now. It's smart agriculture. There I think we can offer, or we can see a lot of developments as well. So, I mean, I visited one firm who was here in a farm, a horticultural farm in Korea that makes use of all the Dutch technologies. And this farmer, he's not just there in the field, no, he sits inside, he has these dashboards with all these computers, humidity, the climate, and everything is automated inside, and he's making a huge profit and is extending. So I think there's a lot of possibility to grow in that sector, and I think Korea, we already get a lot of requests. So that's a sector that will grow in the future.
So it sounds like our trade relationship really revolves around digital technology or a lot of innovation.
Yeah, let me add a little bit. The last time we also talked about the energy transition.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I mean, only recently we had a big delegation on hydrogen. In the Netherlands, we have our own gas, natural gas. We used to have that, but we said, okay, we stop with that because we want to go to renewables. We want to be fossil fuel, carbon free in 2050. And we see a big role for hydrogen in that sense. And hydrogen needs the infrastructure, it's a gas. And we have a lot of knowledge of this infrastructure because we used to have our natural gas, we still have that. So there again, we are complementary because Korea, you have the big ships, you need also the hydrogen. So it's about transport, it's about infrastructure, so also the big ports working together. And we have our big port, Rotterdam. And that will play a major role in the transport of hydrogen. And you have big ports as well, so we can work together in that sense.
Well, and now let's talk about our investment relationship. Many firms globally, including those in Korea, have picked the Netherlands as a preferred investment destination. What do you think makes your country a good investment destination for a lot of the companies?
So at the moment, I think we have 120 Korean companies who settled in the Netherlands.
Talks quick facts. Investment status between Korea and the Netherlands. Since relations between Korea and the Netherlands were upgraded to a comprehensive future-oriented partnership in 2016, the two sides have been working hard to develop their exchanges and relations further. This can be seen especially in their investments in semiconductor-related technology, which is a sector in which both countries are held in high regard. Korea, which excels in semiconductor manufacturing, and the Netherlands, a semiconductor equipment powerhouse, signed an agreement in May 2021 to create synergy through complementary cooperation. The agreement called for the Dutch company ASML and the Korean government to invest about US $170 million in building an EUV, or extreme ultraviolet, equipment cluster, including a local repair center and a training center to strengthen their semiconductor industry capability. In addition, an average of 52 cases and $1.376 billion of Dutch investment in Korea was reported over the past 5 years from 2016 to 2020. Shall we find out about Korea's investments in the Netherlands? Korea's direct investment in the Netherlands shows that the amount in 2020 increased greatly compared to the previous year. In 2020, Korean companies invested around $120 million in the Netherlands, with the highest amounts reported in the wholesale, retail, and construction sectors.
I think one is the location. We have, within a range of 500 kilometers, we have 170 million consumers. So yeah, the Netherlands is small, but we have Germany, we have France, the big economies around us, and very well connected. We have our airports, we have our ports, we have a good logistical network. I think the skilled workforce, everybody speaks English, so it doesn't matter where you come from, we can communicate. And then having also the companies that are already there that work together with these research institutes, these technical universities. So we have a Wood Valley, we have a Technical Valley. So they all are bundled together, also physically, and the exchange is really amazing, and so that attracts also foreign international businesses like Korean companies.
I learned something new about the Netherlands.
Well, in your preliminary answer, you mentioned about how we should really expand and redefine our political and security relationship. What did you mean by that?
Right now, I think Korea is really opening up. Being the number 10 economy in the world, it comes also with a certain kind of responsibility. We share common values, we share international rule of law. Also, as a small country as the Netherlands, we need our allies also within the European Union. And Korea also, I think you need your friends around you that stand up for you and that help to set the rules or to defend the values that you think, hey, your democracy. And in that sense, we can see that this pivotal role that your new president has. So we're very much interested in that, to see how Korea can claim that role and play a role in that sense. And we really would like to be there to assist and to see how we can work together in that sense. So we see it as our relationship a deepening relationship in a strategic kind of sense and working more together on global issues that we share.
I will be sure to deliver that message.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador, for inviting us over to your lovely residence. And I think this year will be a beginning. It has been a beginning of perhaps a new 60-year cycle for us, Korea and the Netherlands. And coincidentally, we have a new administration in Korea. So I have no doubt that we will continue to forge these ties and continue with our friendship.
I hope so too.
Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.
Shall we go and deliver the message?
Mission complete. Diplomat Talks has delivered the message of the Dutch ambassador.
So it's a wooden box. I think it's for storing business cards, and you have your name in Korean
Thank you.
engraved. So hopefully
Yeah,
this will
the
be a
last
good
one.
decoration
It's
and a
nice.
useful tool on
it's
your
nice. It has a
office
magnet,
desk.
yes. 감사합니다. Thank you so
감사합니다.
much.
And I will see you next week.